we still have a little bit of summer left, and summer is a time where it seems more people read than the rest of the year, and I have a feeling more than ever since we're all at home. So today I wanted to give you 5 books I love and recommend to you. Let's get into it. Okay, if we haven't met, my name is Cassandra and I help motivated professionals build their careers and businesses through practical tips to gain career confidence. So today I want to give you some of my favorite reads. 4 of these are going to be a little more self-development, life development, and then 1 is just fun, just pure, blatant fun. First book I want to recommend, Gretchen Rubin's Better Than Before. So Gretchen Rubin wrote The Happiness Project, then Happier at Home. She wrote Better Than Before. She also wrote The 4 Tendencies, which is an offshoot of this book. Spoiler, I don't think you need the 4 tendencies unless you want to go real deep. I think you just need this. This is a really enjoyable read about habits. I know everyone's into James Clear's Atomic Habits. Full disclosure, I still haven't read it, even though I've heard him on every podcast known to man. I loved Tiny Habits, but those books are a little more, like, even from what I've heard about James Clear's, they're a little more on the scientific end, a little more textbooky sounding. This is almost personal narrative. Gretchen Rubin does a great job of doing a ton of research on all the different things people say work for habits, and then she goes and tries them. And then she tells you what she discovered in the process or what she's observed and seen her friends do. And she comes up with some ideas that I really haven't seen anywhere else. So I love this book. I fully recommend this. I think it's a super enjoyable read. I go back to it a lot, like, oh, what do I want to use to try and build that habit? Let me use the clean slate approach. Her website also has a bunch of freebies to go along with this to help you kind of plan out and strategize your habits if you want to go deep. So I love this book. I have 2 books by the same author. 1 I already took a cover off of. So this is, pretend you can see the cover, Free to Focus from Michael Hyatt. So at this point, if you've watched my channel, you know I love productivity. I love a productivity guide. I'm reading another book on productivity right now. I just think it's interesting. I don't think we need to be productive to put more on our plate, but in a sense to figure out where's the line of getting things done so we can enjoy the rest of our life. And in this book, Michael Hyatt talks about that, right? He talks about how he streamlines his schedule so that he can take a month off in the summer and not touch work at all. I think it's a really good read that encompasses a lot of productivity habits you may have seen elsewhere. And he does a good job of dividing into what are you good at? Keep doing those things. What do you like doing, but you're not great at, so it's wasting your time? And what can you give to somebody else? And even if you are at home as a job seeker, I challenge you to read that part and think through it. I think it's really easy for us, depending on our situation, to go, well, I can't like give things to other people to do. I don't have money to do that. I have to do these things myself. There are ways to kind of play with that area. I won't spoil it. I'll let him tell you. Once again, it's Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt. His newest book is called The Vision-Driven Leader. And I had been toying with the idea of reading this book, but then I thought, well, I don't really lead a team. It's me. But Sean Cannell, friend of the show, recommended it. And I asked him, like, even if you don't lead a team, is it good? And he said yes. So I read it. I have to agree. I think if you are an entry-level employee, you should read this book because it can show you how to be a leader where you are in your life right now. It can also show you what you should be looking for in your leaders. Like, are they vision-driven leaders or are they managers? And it kind of gives you somewhere to shoot for. He gives a bunch of questions in the book to kind of come up with your own vision. And even if you are not a quote-unquote leader at this point in your life, everybody has vision. Everybody should have a vision. So I really recommend this book to kind of put that together. And fun fact, I still need to go through and do all the questions. So that is on my to-do list. The next one, we're going to shift gears. This one is about money. Now, I also love books on personal finance. Not like a voracious personal finance reader, but there's a lot out there that I like. In fact, I'm going to give a bonus book. If you are in your early 20s, if you're just starting out, I think you should read So Money by Farnoosh Torabi. I hope it's still in print. Farnoosh has an amazing podcast also called So Money, but that was the book that I read in my 20s moments where I went, okay, this girl gets it. Like, it's not overly strict, but it gives really good tips on how to budget, where to save money, but still have a social life. I love that book. So I do recommend that one if you're just starting out. But I also think you and everybody else watching this video should read I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. So let me tell you right now, first time I saw this title, I was like, no, like, this is a gimmicky title. I hate the title. It's a too good to be true, get rich quick kind of title. But I heard Ramit on multiple podcasts, and every podcast I went, his advice is really sound. Also, he has a bit of attitude, and I'm a fan. Like, he's very no nonsense. Like, nope, that's stupid, don't do it. No, you're dumb, don't do that. I kind of enjoy it. So when the second edition came out, he added to it. He also talks about, this probably wasn't the greatest title for a book. And so I picked it up when the second edition came out. And y'all, he gives great, sound, reasonable money advice. He talks about not keeping a budget, but spoiler alert, I would still technically call it a budget. But he talks about spending your money on the things that you really love and then being cheap as all get out on everything else. He gives retirement advice that you can use from the book. Often I find people give advice that's like, so here are some things you need to look at, talk to a financial advisor. He has that piece too, but a little bit, he has interesting takes on financial advisors. I think this is a great place to start if you're looking to kind of renew, review, and revise your finances. In fact, I think this is going to be something that maybe every late December, January, I take a look at again just to go, okay, am I on track? Do I need to tweak things? Like, let me go back and check again. So I love this book. Now, if you couldn't tell, I love a lot of nonfiction. I read so much nonfiction. A fiction book has to have a really intriguing plot, and it needs to suck me in the first 15 pages or else I'm out. And this next book did that. This is the first fiction book I think I've read in maybe 2 years. This is Beach Read. It is by Emily Henry. This is the first book from her I've read. She's got others. I'm gonna go look at them. Basically, the one-liner is two authors end up having lake houses next to each other, and they're both sort of having writer's block, and they decide to switch genres. So she's a like romantic comedy kind of chick lit writer, and he writes much more in the vein of like the great American novel sort of thing, a Jonathan Franzen sort of book. And so they switch to try and prove like, well, can you write the way I write? And that just sounded fun and light, but it's not vapid. This book actually gets grounded in very real life topics from like page 2. And that's how it got me. And so it's got a nice light frothiness while still very much grounded in reality, but not turning overly dark. So I highly recommend Beach Read. Okay, y'all, this is the first time I think I've ever given any sort of book recommendation guide. If you like this video, let me know if you want to see more of what I've enjoyed reading, because I would love to recommend more books to you. And let me know in the comments, what's the best thing you read lately? Please add to my reading list. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I have more videos for you here and here. I'll see you next time.